People always get confused about these two things when you are learning about the business and actually when you are operating. I don't calculate anything because those are not like, that's the reason I invest in real estate, because I get that appreciation. If you are trying to make like 5% work, it doesn't worth of your time, because you can get like treasury bond or actually stock market index fund. If the deal doesn't work, understand those scenarios, how to make it work. Don't force it.
Welcome to the Real Estate Masters podcast, where we bring you the top real estate investors in the country. If you also want to be in the top 1%, you are in the right place. Listening to podcasts like this is exactly what helped me to scale my real estate investing business to 7 figures, flip over 1,000 houses, and more importantly, step out of daily operations of my business over a decade ago so I could start and grow other businesses. So get ready to learn from the best and start building a business that works for you and not the other way around. Enjoy. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Emran, thank you so much for taking the time. I love to kind of start podcasts, just kind of getting into how you got into real estate in the first place.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So, 10 years back when I was working as W-2 employee and we bought an just house, and then at the time I was thinking, can I rent it out, at least one room? We had a basement. So I rent it out. It covers almost 50% of my mortgage. I thought, oh, it's cool. So can I do it more? That's why I get into the real estate. I was really interested, and then over the last 10 years, I did close to 50 deals. Right now, I have like 23 single-family homes in 4 different states in the USA.
Awesome. And I know you mentioned you only spend about an hour a week on your business. When it comes to, retiring and, at an early age, I feel like a lot of people get into real estate for time freedom. How are you able to achieve that with such a simple kind of strategy?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, when I first started, I started in Seattle, Washington. The price to rent ratio was not good there, but what I was doing actually, so I was buying a couple of more rental there in Redmond and also Seattle, West Seattle. Then I found out that actually it's taking a lot of my time to manage those properties, finding the tenant, market it, show it the property, right? And then actually collect the rent. There is a maintenance issue. So when we were in Washington, I personally manage all those properties. But at the same time, I was thinking this is not a good use of my time, because I want to invest in real estate and I don't want to day to day manage all these properties, and then it doesn't make sense. So when I started looking outside of like Washington, at first I looked into Ohio, where I bought like few duplexes, like $20,000, $25,000. And then I was not in Ohio. So I said, on the only way I can manage it if I can find a property management company. So that's where actually all it started. After a couple of years, I actually starting like transfer all my property to the property management company. So now I have like 23 properties. I don't manage any one of them. So all are managed by the property management company in 4 different states. So mainly 1 hour I spend per week on the acquisition side, and also talking to the lenders, get actually favorable terms, and also the tax filing. So those are the things I spend time on. What I enjoy, all the day-to-day operation management, all these things actually are managed by the property management company.
How important is it for you to find the right property management company? Because, property management is not an easy business, and there's a lot of people that don't, not say know what they're doing, but aren't doing it as efficiently as they can. How important was that in finding the best possible option for you?
Yeah, this is a really great question, because when I started in Ohio, the first property management company I worked with, after a couple of years, I thought actually they are not managing my property well. So, and the good thing is, since I manage my property first 2 years, I know actually all the things I need to look for when the managing the property. So next time when I was looking for property management company, I had call with them. I was asking all these questions. What is your vacancy rate looks like? How many property are you currently managing? Do you also invest in real estate, right? So these are the things I was asking a lot, and then get some clarity. And then when I found out, oh, there are actually some good property management company out there, and some of them also actually those who are affiliated with some sort of real estate brokerage company. So those are better, because actually they already know all the real estate transaction side, not like mom and pop property management company. I would say if someone wants to follow my path, like spending only 1 hour, it's really, really, really important to find a good property management company, because that will actually make or break your whole journey.
Want to get motivated sellers that nobody knows about? Introducing 10x TV. If you want to create credibility in your market, find deals that nobody else knows about, and crush your competition, you need to check into TV commercials. It is the new buzz in the real estate investing industry since we introduced it several years ago. I've been using TV commercials myself for the last 12 years and it's absolutely crushed it. So if you want to learn how to get on TV and to do something that little to no people are doing right now, go to claimmymarket.com. Again, that's claimmymarket.com. We usually only work with 2 investors per market, so if you're interested, reach out to us and book a call to see if you can claim your market before anybody else does. Now back to the show. When it comes to acquisitions, how are you finding your properties?
I use different methods. At the beginning, I used to going through all the like MLS listing. And one thing actually, during the pandemic, I got my real estate license in Seattle. So what I did actually is to go to, if there is any property comes, I will go to those listings, see those. Then when I was doing out of state, I was mainly asking all the property management company as well, and also trying to find out. Actually, I got some help from bigger pockets to find out who are the investor friendly real estate agent. And when I talk to them, the first question I ask, how many real estate investment body do you have? If they have 5 to 10, they already know all the process. And if they are really new, it's really hard to like work with them at the beginning. But yeah, if you can spend some time. But that's the way actually I was getting into all these real estate. And when I talk to the realtor out of state, they already have investment property. They already know actually about the area, what is the process to find the real estate. And then actually they set up me with all the MLS listing and also like outside of MLS and then wholesale, those kind of scenario. But mainly I was getting from the property management company where they have existing owner, they want to get rid of their portfolio. And if it makes sense, that's what I was to getting these properties.
Yeah. Well, what was the main problem that you were trying to solve when starting this business?
The main problem I was trying to solve actually, I was working as W2 employee. So I was working almost 50, 60 hours. So can I replace my income with like 1 to 2 hours uh, week, work? So that's the main reason. So mainly the time freedom and also obviously location freedom. I don't want to be in that place where actually my properties are. So yeah, right now I have like 5 different states. All the properties only like I have only couple where I stay, and all others actually different 4 different states where I don't even visit.
Hmm. What do you think the most common misconception is from investor standpoint of how you operate? And there's so many niches within real estate. What do you think the most common misconception is about what you do?
The common misconception I see all the time, I would always say for any business, you need to have some sort of like knowledge, basic knowledge about the business. And people always get confused about these 2 things when you are learning about the business and actually when you are operating. So people get confused. Oh, I want passive income, but I don't want to learn all the steps to go into that place, right? People are thinking, so when I tell everyone or actually the other people about the entrepreneur or real estate investor, I spend 1 hour, but it didn't happen one day, right? So it's not like actually I started investing tomorrow and then actually I just spending 1 hour, right? At the beginning, first 6 months, I was learning like crazy. I was finding properties, learn about all the like tax strategy you need to implement. What are the advantages about long term hold? What are the advantages about like short term? How can you find like fix and flip? What are the disadvantages? How much time commitment you need to do if you are in like full operational mode, right? So people has the misconception that, oh, I want passive income, but I don't have time to learn these things. So, but yeah, you need to spend like at least 6 months to 1 hour to learn all the things, and you can't call it passive at the beginning, but you can be there in that place, like I would say, after a year or two.
A lot of people with rentals are only clearing a couple $100 per rental unit or house. What are you seeing to be the best strategy for this? Or like, is it obviously it's how you buy it and how you structure it, but how are you finding, you mentioned the acquisition and finding rates and terms. What are you looking for necessarily in a deal for you to be like, yeah, that's worth my investment?
Yeah, right now my filtering criteria actually got stricter as I like bought more and more properties. Right now I'm looking for at least like 15 to 20% cash on cash return. But if I don't get like at least 20%, then actually I try to avoid those deals. And when you talk to like other realtor who are not experienced investor, what they do actually, they will present you the deal something like they will calculate, oh, these are the mortgage you are paying it off, right? You are getting tax deduction. I don't calculate anything because those are not like, that's the reason I invest in real estate, because I get the depreciation, right? And I can get all these things. So I don't calculate all these things, but main goal is actually if it is falls below 15% cash on cash, I'm just skipping the deal.
Gotcha. Gotcha. What are some of the biggest strategies or lessons that have made the biggest impact on your investment strategies over the past year and a half?
Uh, Past year and a half, let me go a little bit back. So, 2024, 1.5 year back, actually, I did a 1031 exchange, and I did another 1031 exchange is actually 2021. So, as I mentioned, I bought like two rental properties in Seattle, except our primary residence. So, when I sold my primary residence, we had like around 400K capital gain. And I learned about the tax strategy and everything, that actually for primary residence you don't have to pay capital gains tax for married, and for single it's 250K at that time. So we did that and we bought like almost three properties, and then I was thinking, oh, I'm selling another property, how can I don't pay the capital gain tax? The only way to do it actually 1031 exchange. So I sold another property in Seattle, and actually I 1031 exchange to six more properties. And then 2024, 1.5 year back, I sold my last property in Washington. And
Mm.
I actually 1031 exchange to eight more properties. So basically, my two properties helped me to buy 14 more properties without any extra investment from my side. And these two property had like around 400, 500K capital gain. So, and if I like pay taxes, that will be like 150K to 200K, right? So if you are paying taxes, then actually you are growing very slowly. But that's the thing actually I like about long-term investment, that actually you only pay capital gain, you don't pay short-term. If you do fix and flip or wholesale, you always pay actually short-term capital gain, right? And then those are the things I was really mind-boggling for me, because what you can do actually, you can do so many things. It's like Warren Buffett, where actually he bought like Berkshire Hathaway, he don't sell anything stock because he's holding it for like 50, 60 years. And he doesn't sell stock because actually he needs to pay a lot of taxes if he wants to like get rid of the stocks, right? Same thing for me, that actually can I do it, hold it for the long term, and I don't need to pay taxes at this moment. Yeah, obviously, if I want to sell it and I don't want to change it, I need to pay taxes. But most of the people I see actually, they don't know this strategy, that actually you can do 1031 exchange and then build a portfolio from very small amount to a very large amount in few years.
Um, well, what do you think's the most common mistake that you're seeing investors make that you think could be really easily avoided?
They want to try hard and soul to make the deal work. Obviously, if the deal doesn't make sense, you need to know before even actually analyzing deal what's your criteria, right? So as I mentioned, mine is 15%. Yeah, you can go at let's say 10%. If you are trying to make like 5% work, it doesn't worth of your time, because you can get like treasury bond or actually stock market index fund. You can get 5 to 10% return without any work. So why do you want to spend that much time unless you are getting a like huge return later?
Yeah. A lot of people, define the word success differently. They measure it differently. They strive for it differently. How do you measure the word success, and then how do you strive for it and define it in your life?
That's a good question. So I have a interesting realization that actually after earning a basic income, like where you can cover all of your basic expenses, if you are not happy with your life, you will not be happy after you have like $10 million. So you need to figure out actually what makes you happy. So as soon as you have like your basic things covered, you have like passive income of like $100,000 per year. If you are not happy, there is no way you will be more happy if you have like 10 million or $20 million. So I define success like this way: am I happy right now? And then the other thing I also want to um, always think about, like Jeff Bezos' regret minimization framework. after 10 years or 20 years, will I regret the decision that actually I didn't take this chance of doing the business?
Well, what do you think's the biggest change you're seeing in real estate right now?
Right now, there's a lot of like last 3 4 years, the interest rate was really high, inflation was really high. So people get confused with these two. That actually, if the interest rate is too high, they think actually they will be able to make money. Yeah, there is a always a possibility of deal, but you need to be really careful because I did couple of investment outside of my single family homes in the apartment syndication, but most of them actually the company the they didn't make money because when the interest rate went higher and stay there for longer or 4 5 years, when they wanted to refinance, they could not able to do it, right? So they lose the apartment. So the problem is that actually people always think that actually it didn't happen last 40 years, it wouldn't happen again. So that's the main misconception. So if the deal doesn't work, understand those scenarios, how to make it work. Don't force it. So that's the main thing I want to mention.
If you were going to start from scratch today, you get to keep all the knowledge that you've learned over the years, but all the properties, everything goes away. What would you focus on first to rebuild?
Yeah, that's the interesting question. Yeah, I thought about this before that actually if I tomorrow morning if I lose everything, I don't have anything, I don't have any money. And yeah, that's realization came from other part also. People always complain me they don't have money, but I always tell them actually money is not the problem, knowledge is the problem. Because if you take away all of my money, all of my property, I can still start investing from tomorrow. The main thing I would focus on actually at least getting a place to be in, stay in. And at first, I will focus on house hacking. So at least find a house where actually I can do a fix little bit or actually rent out a couple of rooms so that actually my rent is covered. So that's the main thing. Now I know a lot of places where I can get loan like DSCR loan where actually it's only based on the rental income. It's not based on your W2 income. So now based on my knowledge, I don't need any money to start investing in real estate, but I will start with most likely house hacking for 6 months, then actually upgrade to a new house and then do that again. And then for a couple more, I will most likely do BRR method. Refinances, take out the money and then actually buy more rental properties. But yeah, I think I can make it work in next 3 4 years again, all these things.
I love it. I love it. What drives you personally to keep innovating and, just kind of moving forward?
The good thing obviously like location freedom and also the time freedom because I can decide where I want to spend my time and also money some of the time. That's really important because if you are not bound to some other people's rules, you can decide what lane you want to drive in, right? So it doesn't need to be follow other people's path, right? So it gives me immense pleasure that actually I can innovate in my own way and nobody is telling me actually how to do it. Because when you are successful, and sometimes it takes longer, people actually always underestimate that actually, oh, I will be financially free in a year. That doesn't happen. So it takes 5 to 7 years if you work for it consistently. But if you want to, yeah, sometimes you get lucky, you can do it in a year, but that's luck because then if you are losing it, you will not be able to rebuild it. So you want that knowledge to compound, and compounding knowledge is the main thing, which I'm really proud of that actually I learned over the years.
What or who has been the biggest influence for you in this space? Who, has been the biggest mentor for yourself?
I was looking into at the first bigger pockets, and also I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. So all the concept in this book actually was helpful to understand how the business works outside of W2. And basically all the investor community in the bigger pockets, and also when I reach out to the other people, the realtor who are actively investing in the market, those knowledge actually was really because I was getting like 10 15 years of knowledge in few minutes, right? I can reinvent the wheel, I can learn all these things, learn about the market. But when I'm investing out of a state, I find a good realtor who's experienced in the real estate investment, and then actually get their suggestion to do the work. I'm not like trying to like tell them, oh, you need to find this property or buy this property for me. If they are saying actually that will not be a good investment, I am trusting their judgment as long as I'm finding actually the correct person to work with.
Yeah, most of the people that we have on here are in the lending space or in the fix and flip and wholesale space. If someone's interested in learning more, about your model and learning more about yourself, where can they go? Where can they reach you at?
I'm active in LinkedIn, and I also have a entrepreneurship mastermind program where I teach all these things about real estate, stock market, and starting a online business from scratch. So in the cohort basis, what I do actually, it's a 3 month program where I teach actually 5% at a time, and only want to include only 5%. I don't want to go more than that so that I can have enough time with them to help them grow their businesses, start like real estate or stock market, and get some idea how the business works, and then give them proper guidance. And I'm really glad actually some of the people took my advice, joined the cohort, and then actually they build a real estate portfolio. Although they are not like in there, but so in a couple of years they will be in a good situation like me.
Awesome. Awesome. Any final advice for investors looking to grow, scale, or maybe simplify their business?
One last piece of advice for the investor: obviously keep learning, because even for, I always give this example of Warren Buffett. He's like in the industry for almost 60, 70 years, but he's still go to the office, right? So this January he like retired from CEO, right? So 94. If he can learn, you can learn any. So, and if you are in like your 20s, 30s, and 40s, it's like prime time to gain this knowledge. And over the years this knowledge compound, and then like next 40, 50 years you can use this knowledge. So learn as much as possible and keep an open mind all the time, and don't think that you know everything, because yeah, it can, economy can change, the whole world order can change, the currency, all these things can change, but nobody can take your knowledge away. So that's the main thing. And as long as you are learning and also you are enjoying, if you don't enjoy, don't go for it. Whatever you enjoy, do it. But yeah, try to think about how to make this process as enjoyable as possible, and figure out what is your happiness criteria.
I love it. I love it. Emran, thank you so much for joining us today. Everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much.